Hi everyone, this is Mohit. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is our fourth day in our 60 days video series on statistics for data science, guys. And in the last three videos, we have set up the foundation of statistics for data science. We are progressing really well, guys. So please keep following these videos so that you become an expert of statistics by the end of these 60 days, guys. And I'm hoping that you are liking the content and your learning is becoming more fun, right? So now I talk about the last three videos, in the first video we set up the foundation with the definition of statistics, guys, right? And we looked at the definition of statistics from two different sources, one from Wikipedia and ChatGPT. Then I introduced few important terminologies which I'll be using throughout this video series, guys, right? So if you have not watched that video, please go and watch that, right? Now, after that, in the last two videos, we are talking about the sampling techniques, guys. As I said in the first video itself, if you are working with the population, then you do not need statistics. So you need statistics because in real world problems, you can never work on the population. And for that, I gave you an example of average data scientist salary. For that, you need the population, right? And population will have more than 10 lakh data scientists, let's say, right? And you cannot collect their information, right? In the real world, always you will not be able to work on the population, guys. That's why you need statistics to solve your real world problems. And for that purpose, you collect sample from the population. Now, in the last two videos, we discussed different techniques we use to extract sample from population without introducing the sampling bias. We discussed about two different types of sampling techniques, probabilistic and non-probabilistic. In the probabilistic, we have four techniques which we discussed: simple random sampling, systematic sampling, stratified sampling, and cluster sampling. Now, from the non-probabilistic sampling techniques, we discussed about convenience sampling, judgmental sampling, quota sampling, and final snowball sampling, right? So now from this video onwards, guys, we are going to start with the different type of statistical analysis, guys. Now we will be going in detail and we will look at the implementation as well. And for implementation, as I in the beginning, in the launch video, I talked about I'll be using Excel. Don't worry, guys, if you are not comfortable with Excel, I will share videos on that also, right? And you will be comfortable with Excel after few of days, guys, right? So just keep following this series. You will be able to relate or understand Excel or statistics, and you will be able to learn how you can implement statistics in Excel, right? Okay, so now as I said, we will be starting with different type of statistical analysis. In this video, we are going to start with the first type of statistical analysis, which is descriptive statistics, guys. Now, without wasting more time, let's move to the screen. One request: if you are new to this channel, subscribe this channel and hit the icon button so that you do not miss out any of the video, guys. So let's get started with the descriptive statistics, guys. In descriptive statistics, we use different measures or numbers which we use to summarize our data, right? So imagine we have Amazon's sales data, or let's say Flipkart sales data, or you can have Ola's customer data, right? You can have any type of data. Now in that, you can use different measures or numbers like mean, median, mode, standard deviation, variance, all these measures. What we are trying to do using them? We are trying to summarize the data in one or two numbers, right? So that's the whole idea behind descriptive statistics. Now, all the measures which we have in descriptive statistics, we have divided them into three categories, guys. So first type of measures in descriptive statistics, we call them as central tendency measures, in which we have mean, median, and mode. They try to give you an idea what is the central value of that particular variable, right? So let's say in the Amazon, we have sales data at the daily level, then it will try to give you the mean of or the central value of the sale you are getting from different days from Amazon, right? So mean, median, mode gives you the central values of your variable. Then we have second type of measures which we use in descriptive statistics, that is variation measure, where we are looking how far the values are spread from the mean in our variable. For that, we use standard deviation, variance, interquartile range, or range itself, right? We will discuss all of these measures one by one, guys, in detail. And the third type of measure, that is shape measure, how the variable is distributed. All this distribution we will talk about in the next video, guys, when I will introduce the term of histogram. There we will look at the distribution of variable, right? So now for that, we need a different shape measures. For that, we have two different shape measures. One is skewness and another one is kurtosis. We will discuss about them as well in our next videos. Okay. So these are the different descriptive statistical measures. We will be talking about central tendency measure in this particular video, and we will look at the implementation of these three in Excel. How we can calculate mean, median, mode in Excel, guys. Okay. So now using this descriptive statistical analysis, what kind of problem you can solve? So in the first, like if you see, we can tell you what is the average sale of Amazon in India. Right? You just need to calculate the mean of that particular sale variable and you are ready with the number. Now, which product sold the most across different categories? Can you give me that answer? Just think about it. Okay, I hope you understood. That is mode, guys. Right? I hope you are right. So, which product sold the most across different categories? The product which is repeating or occurring the maximum time in our data, that is nothing but mode. We will discuss that. Now, how much variation in the demand of a product? So now this is very helpful, guys. Why we use variation measure? Because it can tell you how far the value can go. Now, let's look at from the industry perspective. Take example of Amazon itself. Now, you know the central value that may be, let's say, 10 lakh is the average sale of Amazon in India. Or you can say on an average, a single type of product being sold on Amazon on an average is 10,000, right? Let's say phone. Now, that is the central value, but values can go a little bit up as well as low on the lower side. Now you cannot just keep the inventory of 10,000, guys. You need to keep some buffer as well. Now to understand that buffer, how much buffer you need, that's where the variation measure comes into the picture. That is standard deviation, variance, and interquartile. That's why they are important, right? So how much variation in the demand of a product? We are talking about the different measures from the measure of spread, right? Then median package of IISc Bangalore. We always talk about the median package. This is the suggestion when you are looking at the placement or the package you will get from any university or any college. You always, I would suggest, go ahead with the median value rather than mean value. Now there is a reason behind it. Just think about it. I will talk about that in this video subsequently, right? And the final one, again, common disease in Bangalore, guys. Again, this is more. So now these kind of problems you can actually solve using these measures, right? And these are the common problem or common questions in the industry, guys. Your management, top management will ask, please tell me what is the average sale I am getting from a single product, right? So this is pretty interesting. Now from Jubilant Foodworks, let's say in my past company, how much sale I am getting from Fresh Mania, right? Or how much average sale I am getting from extra veganja pizza, right? So this is very common problem you need to solve. Now let's move to the central tendency measures one by one, guys. Mean, median, and mode, these are pretty simple, guys. So I will not spend much time on it, but I will use few examples to explain you how do you calculate, right? And the key difference, why do we need multiple? If you have mean, why do you need median, right? So there is a reason behind it. I'll talk about that. Okay. So arithmetic mean, if you remember, guys, what is arithmetic mean? If let's say we have 10 values, you just sum all of them. This is how you calculate, just sum all of them divided by the number of values, right? So that will give you arithmetic mean. Now, this is kind of similar our statistical mean also, right? So for the population, we denote the mean as mu. So this is nothing but mu. We generally write it as mu. right? And these are nothing but the values in our population. Now the problem is we never have values from our population in statistics because of the size of the population, right? So now this is the hypothetical formula, guys, for the population. So mu is equal to summation of all the values in our population divided by number of items in our population, right? Now corresponding to that, we always work on the sample. Like for the example of average data scientist salary, let's say we have 1000 data scientist salary information. We need to sum all of them divided by 1000, right? So that will give me sample mean. How do we represent sample mean? Using x bar. This is bar, guys, right? So we call it as x bar, and bar represents this flat horizontal line at the top of x, right? So here n is the number of items in our sample. Okay, so this is basically the representation of mean in population and in sample. Remember it, these notations are very important, guys, when you are looking at them from the books as well, right? So let's say after this you are going through the book, then they will use this kind of notation. So mu is always for population mean, this is universal. Similarly, for sample mean we use x bar, right? So there will be bar like that. Okay, so this is the formula for central tendency measure mean. Now I will give you an example and which will inspire that we need another measure. Okay, so let's take an example. Let's say we have data scientist salary which are living in Dubai in their dirham currency, right? So we have different, let's say we have 10 data scientists from Dubai and their salary like 7800 dirham, then 8000, 7500, 7300, and like that for 10 data scientists. Now, how do you calculate the mean? Let's say this is our sample. So what you need to do, you just sum all of these values and divide it by 10, and you will get a final value. That final value will come as this 15,665, right? If you look among these, we have all the values around 7,000, 8,000, 9,000, but there is one value which is coming as 90,000, guys, right? And in statistical and in data science, we call this as the outlier value, which is inconsistent from other data, right? Now, this is not invalid or wrong value because there can be a person who is earning 90,000, right? Let's say someone like Ambani, right? Someone can have like bigger salary, or like Nitin Kamal, right? So you can take anyone having with this much salary. Now that's not invalid, but we call it as outlier because the value is inconsistent with other values available in our variable. Now this is 90,000. Let me create a new data where we have 9,000 rather than 90,000. So all the values are consistent. There is no outlier in this, the second level of data point, right? So here we have 9,000, here we have 90,000. Now the mean of this particular data will change to 7,565. Now this is pretty interesting, guys. Remember this point. Now what's happening? Here we had 15,665 and here 7,565. Now what is the difference? There is only one difference we have made. That is from 90,000 we have made the value of 9,000. Now because of this, what happened? Your median, the mean value has reduced. Now this is the point I wanted to convey, guys. Always remember our mean is sensitive to extreme values. Okay, remember this. So our mean is sensitive to extreme values. So always we use mean with the variables when we have no outlier present in the data, right? So that is why if I give you the same example of placement salary for any particular college, like if you take example of my college NIT Kushetra, there were few people who got the package from Google and that was in crores, but they were very few, like 3 or 4 people. Now they are actually outliers. Other people were getting package of 6 lakh, 7 lakh, 10 lakh, and there were 3 or 4 people who were earning 1.5 crore. Now, if you are looking at the mean of this placement or the salary, then what will happen? Because of these outliers, 1.5 CR, you will have more placement package or salary package you will get. Now that is actually incorrect because there are only 3 or 4 people who are earning like 1.5 CR, right? So here for this particular data, for this particular college, NIT Kushetra, mean is not the right way to calculate the average placement salary, right? Or average placement package. I hope you understood the reason or the concept. Now, because of this, mean is sensitive to extreme values. We need another measure which is not sensitive to outliers, and that is median price. Okay. So generally, people knows the formula. How do we calculate mean, median, and mode? But they don't know these critical points about mean and median. They always use mean and median interchangeably, but that should not happen, guys. Now you have the reason, and I'll explain you how do we calculate median. Then you will find out that median is not sensitive to the outliers. Let's see that. So now median, as we know, guys, it is the central value or it is the middle value where exactly half of the data values are above and below it. Right? So now how do we calculate? Let's move to that particular part first. So let's say we have this data. Simple example we will take 80, 87, 95, 83 and 92. What we will do, guys, if we have this data, then first of all, we will rearrange the data in an ascending order. Okay. So now what we did, we just rearranged the data in an ascending order. Now there are two things. If you have the odd number of values, then you pick the central number, right? So here we use the formula of n by 2 plus 1. So here number of observations are 5. 5 divided by 2 plus 1. 5 divided by 2 is 2.5. You have to take the round off. Okay. So you'll take the close integer that is below that, right? So generally we call it as floor. So now 5 by 2, 2.5, we have to take 2 out of it and then 2 plus 1. So now 2 plus 1, 3. At the third position, whatever value is there, that is our median, right? So that is 87, right? Now, if we have even number of observations in our data, then it is little bit tricky. Then what you need to do, you have to take the average of two values. And those two values will be the center of your complete data, right? So now let's say if we have 6 number of observations, like in this particular case, again, you have to arrange them in the ascending order. Then you have to pick two values, which is x n by 2, like in this particular case, it's 6, right? 6 is the number of observations. Then this is 3. And this is 3 plus 1, that is 4, right? So you have to pick values on the index of 3 and 4, sum them, and then divide by 2, because we are taking the average value of values present on third and fourth index, right? So 87 plus 92 divided by 2, right? So this is the formula you will get, right? So now that will give you the mean you are taking, that will be nothing but median, right? So now in this case 89.5. So this is how you calculate, guys, for odd number of observations and even number of observations. For odd number, it's pretty straightforward. Now let's look at the same data, that data scientist salary in Dubai, right? So now this is our data. What we need to do, this is our data. We have to arrange them in the ascending order. That's what we are doing in the next step. We have 6,500, that is the minimum, and 90,000, that is the maximum value we have. Now for this particular data, we have 10 observations, right? So we have even number of observations. So we will pick 5th and 6th value. We will take the average of those two. So that is nothing but 7,500 and 7,800. So that will come to 77,650 dirhams, right? So that is the median we have. Now, if we have the other data where we do not have outlier, we have 9,000. So now in that particular case, what will happen? So 9,000 will come on the right extreme side. Then we are taking 7,500 and 7,800, again their mean, and that will come again as 7,650. Now you can see, despite having outlier in the data, your median is not getting influenced. So that is why we say median is insensitive to extreme values. So used when outliers are present in the data. So this is pretty interesting, guys. I hope you understood the concept of mean and median, where to use mean, where to use median. When you have outliers, use mean. Where you have not outliers present in the data, then use So I hope you understood the concept. So where you have outliers present in the data, you have to use median. And if the outliers are not present, then you can use any one of them, mean or median, right? So this is pretty useful, guys. Okay, now the last One from the central tendency measure, that is mode, guys. And so far we were talking about mean and median. Those two are heavily used with the numerical data. Mode can also be used with numerical, but measure of the time, most of the time, we actually use mode for the categorical variable like gender, marriage status. Let's say we have a bank customers data, right? We have all the customers list with their gender and marriage status. Then we can find out whether we have male more customers or we have female more customers, right? So that is nothing but the mode. We want to find out which particular category is presenting in our data the most, right? So mode is the value that occurs the most often in the data set. And we use mode for qualitative variables like gender, marriage status, and etc. like, right? Okay, let's take the same example. Now we have our data set, data scientist salary in Dubai. Okay, so now for this particular case, if you look at, most of the values are uniquely present except this 8,000, right? So only 8,000 is present in this particular data twice. So that is why, what will be the mode? The mode will be 8,000, right? So this is our single mode, right? Or we can say unimode. So this data, we can call it as unimodal data, right? So this is the mode is equal to 8,000 and your there is a single value as your mode. So that's why single modal data. Now we can have a data set where we have two values which are present with the same number of frequency. So like in this particular case, 8,000 and let's say this 7,000, these two are present twice, right? So they are present with the same number of frequency. So now here the mode is 7,000 as well as 8,000. Now this kind of data, we call it as bimodal data, guys. Okay, so this type of data we call it as bimodal. Now similarly, we can have trimodal as well, right? And we can have multimodal data as well. Okay, we can have multimodal where we have more than 3 mode present in our data set. So here, if you look at this example, 7,800, 7,800, 8,000, 8,000, right? Then we have 7,000 and 7,000, 9,000 and 9,000. Here we have 4 mode, which are nothing but 7,000, 8,000, 7,800 and 9,000, right? So we call it as multimodal data. Okay, so I hope you understood the concept of mode and then how do we calculate it and the different type of modal data, right? Unimodal, bimodal, trimodal, and then multimodal, right? Okay, so I hope these 3 central tendency measures are clear. Thanks for watching till the end. I hope you understood the concept of descriptive statistics and different type of descriptive statistical measures we have in statistics. In this particular video, we talked about one of the type of descriptive statistics, that is central tendency measures, right? And in that specifically, we talked about mean, median, and now in the next video, which I will upload on Monday, guys, in which we will discuss about how we can implement or how we can calculate mean, median, and mode using Excel. So if you are new to Excel, don't worry. I'll give you a kickstart in that particular video itself. And then we will see how we can calculate these 3, mean, median, and mode in Excel. Thanks again for watching this. Request, guys, please subscribe this channel if you are new. Share with your friends. Like this video. And if you have any question or doubt, you can ask in the comment section, guys. Thanks again. See you on Monday. By that time, take care and keep learning.